Hi, you guys. Today we're going to be talking about prime numbers and composite numbers. So on Tuesday, we just talked about how do we take a number and show what its factors are. Now we're going to take those factors. So for example, I believe we did the 35, 1, 7, and 5. So we're going to kind of look into the numbers 35, 7, 5, and 1. And now you're going to need to decide, are these numbers prime or are these numbers what we call composite? So to do that, I'm going to have you either use one paper for anchor chart or two, you decide. And the first one we're going to focus on will be prime numbers. And prime numbers are fairly easy. So let's do prime number as in red. So on the very top, you're going to write prime numbers. So go ahead and do that. Prime numbers. So this is what we'll be talking about today. And a prime number are basically, or a prime number is a number that has only two factors. That's all, just two. Two factors. I'll kind of slow it down so you can make sure you're writing. The more you write, the easier the quiz will be on Friday. So, all right, so you're going to take this idea and you're going to think, okay, any number that's prime can only be multiplied by 1 and itself. So, for example, let me do this in. Here's my example. So my examples would be 2, because to get 2, I can only multiply 2 itself and 1. Or 3, I can only basically multiply, here's my 3 and 1. We'll dot for multiplication. 5, same thing. 11, same thing. 7, 37, and 23. There are other ones, but these are the ones we're focusing on today. So these are examples of prime numbers. Another way you can remember it is thinking of basically, here, hold on, the P and the R and the I and me. So, sorry, this is a terrible M. I apologize. Basically, if you think about prime numbers, there's only two numbers that can fit into it. So an I and a me, an I and a me, so 2. So for example, the number 5, it's not that colorful. If I take my red and I want to try to make a rainbow, I really can't. Because it's basically just one little 1 and a 5. That's all. So it's not very colorful, is it? So those are prime numbers. You're just having two factors. Now, the composite. This is where we get a little more fancy and it gets a little more colorful. So let's go ahead and do a bright blue because we're going to be making some rainbows with this one. So if you only have a pencil, that's okay. If you have some crayons, that works. So a composite, here's my T, is basically a number that has more than 2. More than 2. So I'm going to underline that. More than 2 factors. And the reason I say more and the reason I kind of like them is because then all of a sudden they create these colorful rainbows. Good. Do colorful. Don't get annoyed by me, but this is just, you know me, color. I'm gonna go out of order accidentally. Color. Help me out. What comes next? I'm gonna go with green, blue, purple, magenta. I don't know. I'll just do a fun one. Let's just do this little fun one. All right, and then we'll just end it with. There we go. All right. So these composite numbers create kind of colorful rainbows, and let me show you what I mean by that. So if I were to take, remember our old 5 down here that we had on the last example? And I just had like a 5 here. Remember, it was just basically 1 and 5. That's all I did. Well, if I had 25, let me do another color. Let's do a green or something fun. If I had 25, and this is what I'm trying to find, I could have 1 and 25, and then I could have 5 times 5. So now this changes, now that it's not 5 times 5. So then my factors, my composite factors for 25 would be 25, 1, and 5, but my composite number altogether would be 25 because I can create either 1 times 25 or 5 times 5. It's not just the I and the me, like the prime number. Composites, there's more than just 2 factors that create the product number. All right, let's do another example. Let's do 36. So here's our 36. Now watch what we do with 36. And same thing, remember kind of we were talking about the, like this would be, if I could only go 36 and 1, that would be 2 numbers and that would be a prime. But with 36, I can keep going. I can keep going and going and going. So right there, you could just stop and go, oh, it's a composite. So the 1 and the 6, I'm going to do that in red. Let's do, sorry. All right, the 1 and the 36 are over here. That's my red. And then I could also do 2, and this is where I start to say it's a kind of a rainbow because you can do several different multiplications. Or I could do, let's do a yellow. I could do 3 times 12 equals 36. So we're all doing as many things that connect to 36. I could do 4 times 9. And that's another one that then creates that. Or I could do my 6 times 6. And that would just be a 6 and a 6. 6 and a 6. Sometimes they put them in the middle. Okay, so that would be an example of a composite. So tonight, when you're doing your homework, they're going to ask you, what is this number? Is it a composite? So if you see a 5, for example, you're going to say, let me make it darker. So tonight on homework, if it had, that's not that much darker, is it? Hold on, so sorry. You're going to think, well, what? Oh, that's so funny. What 2 numbers can I multiply to get 5? Well, 5 and 1. Can I multiply more? No. So that's a prime number. But what if we had 6? Then you would have 6 times 1. And then I could also take the 6 and separate it and say 3 times 2. So I would have the numbers, my factors would be 6, 3, 2, 1. So 1, 2, right there, 3, 4. So there's more than 2. So then that would be a composite number because it's got more than 2 factors, where this just had 5 and 1 as the factors. So that's where it's only 2. It only has 2 numbers. All right, I will stop there. Make sure you have your anchor charts all filled out. Make sure you use them on the test, and I will talk to you later. Thank you.